It's 9:30 on a Sunday morning, so it's safe to say that everyone who's here has had not a very exciting Saturday night. Uh, and I'm part of that gang. Uh, I'm really excited to be here. For the record, when I was your age, I would never be allowed into an IIM, not even to use the toilet. Uh, so I was really, really thrilled to get the invitation to speak. And when I was on my way here, I was thinking, what do you say to people who are smarter than you? Uh, really, I can't stand here and outsmart you because you are all smarter than me. So I thought I should just tell you the truth. So this is the truth as I know it. A couple of years ago, when I was trying to figure out how to make movies and how to write, I used to talk to people who are already doing that a lot. And everyone used to tell me that if you want to be in this business and if you want to succeed, you have to bring yourself to your work. And I used to think, how do I do that? How does one bring themselves to their work? Like, I am here trying to do my work, I'm bringing myself to my work, and that should be enough. I spoke to a couple of more people, and they told me that you have to write what you know. And of course, you're not along, but I wondered, how do you write what you know if you don't know anything? And I used to think, but I don't know anything. How do I do this? How do I write what I know? Well, a couple more years passed, and then one day it kind of dawned on me that my protagonists, my heroes cannot be, bank robbers, tough cops, gangsters, politicians, great leaders, the Gandhis and Martin Luther Kings of the world. My protagonists have to be people that I know. People whose lives are just inflicted by drudgery and routine, and these people too. I'm talking about our parents and our uncles and our aunts, and all people wake up every morning with a new dose of optimism, knowing that the day is going to crush their dreams, and then in the evening they come back home tired. The next morning they do this again, and they persevere in this life of drudgery, and they do this for the sake of the people they love. So I decided to write about those people, the regular people, and I suddenly became very proud of myself, even though I had achieved absolutely nothing, because I thought I'm going to be the chronicler of the mundane exploits of regular people, and that's going to be my thing, and that's how I'm going to write what I know. So I wrote this movie called Lunchbox, and it's about two people whose lives are inflicted by drudgery, and they're regular people. She's in the prison of her house, and he's in the prison of his office routine, and nothing much really happens in the movie. If you've seen it, Uh, and I thought no one was going to watch this movie except for my mother, because my mother watches everything that I make. And we couldn't even raise all the money from India at that time for a movie about the mundane exploits of regular people. No one's going to give you money to make it. So we ended up doing what is called an international co-production. Much by accident and need, as these things happen, it became the first Indo-German-French co-production. These treaties have been in existence forever, but they've never been used. So we became that first co-production. And then, we made the movie. And then, of course, I thought, great, I got to make a movie. I got to write what I know, and that is enough. No one's going to watch this thing. And then, I'm going to try to figure something else out to do. But then something really amazing happened. The movie traveled all over the world, and people started, watching it, and it just kept going. It just kept going. So even 2 years after it's come out, it's still playing in theaters somewhere around the world. It became the highest-grossing foreign language film, I'm told, in all of the West. And everywhere I would go, people would tell me what my movie was about, and I would cringe, because I would be like, this is not what it's about, you idiots. I wrote what I knew, and I brought myself to my work. This is about me, don't you get it? Everyone would tell me what it is about, and I would really cringe. And a couple of months later, it was the 31st of December, and I was driving in Bombay, listening to the radio, and on All India Radio, they have this show. It's about the best of the year. Have you heard that show? So people call in and talk about the best things that happened that year, and a lot of people were calling in and talking about the best film of the year, and some of them were talking about my movie, and I'm being a little modest. Many of them were talking about my movie, and so this lady calls and says, I'm visually challenged, but I went to see this movie 3 times because I wanted to hear the voiceovers. Someone else called and said that This movie reminded me of my dead mother, so I went and saw it many times. Someone else called and said, I saw this movie, and the next day I left my husband. And then again, someone else called and said, this movie made me really hungry, so I went to see it 3 times, and after each time I went and had a big dinner. Uh, and then, that's when it dawned on me that my biggest learning about this thing that I'm trying to do did not come before I made the movie. It did not come while I was making the movie. It came months after the movie was out in the world. So I stopped my car, right in the middle of the road because I'm a terrible driver. I should have pulled over to the side. Uh, but I stopped my car and it really dawned on me that, when you bring yourself to your work personally, somehow, when you put it out there in the world, people who watch it also bring themselves to your work. And they bring their lives to it. So why am I telling you this? When you leave, the walls of this great institution and you go out there, there'll be many roads in front of you. Because, you've earned it and you are terribly smart. You are going to be running this country, actually, a few years from now or a year from now, or at least a small slice of it. But I hope that we meet again, in a bus station or in the airport or on the train, and you come up to me and you tell me that you brought yourself to your work and you put it out there in the world, and somehow, and I still don't know how this works, but somehow your work became a mirror and people saw themselves in it. Because, to me, that is the way to make change, and that is the greatest joy in the world. So I wish you that joy and much luck and much happiness. Thank you for having me.